The year is 2025. Markets glittered like gold dust in the sunlight. Wall Street's confidence echoed across newsrooms, stocks at record highs, jobs rebounding, and inflation seemingly tamed. But beneath that calm surface, fault lines deepened. Massive liquidity injections and corporate debt were hiding under layers of optimism. Analysts spoke of stability, yet the system was quietly shaking. The illusion of prosperity blinded governments and investors alike, until the first cracks appeared, revealing a storm the world wasn't ready for. It began with whispers, tech stocks sliding, bond yields spiking. The media dismissed it as temporary market noise, but insiders knew liquidity had vanished overnight. Banks tightened lending, hedge funds scrambled for cash, and billion-dollar portfolios started burning. The financial machine, once roaring, began to choke. Every investor remembered 2008, but this time, the problem wasn't just subprime loans, it was everything. For a decade, governments printed money to solve every crisis. Trillions flowed into markets, inflating assets to absurd levels. Now, interest rates were suffocating those debts. Mortgage payments doubled, corporate refinancing froze, and the dominoes began to fall. One bank defaulted, then another. Nations that once borrowed endlessly faced their reckoning. Houses once flipped for profit now stood empty. Mortgage lenders folded under pressure, and luxury apartments became monuments of greed. The bubble that built modern cities burst, leaving developers bankrupt and families stranded. What once symbolized wealth turned into ruins of overconfidence. Bond traders called it the unthinkable event. Yields shot upward, destroying decades of investments. Pension funds lost billions overnight, and central banks faced a nightmare they had created. The safe assets became poison. For the first time in history, trust in government debt was collapsing. The Federal Reserve was trapped. Cutting rates risked inflation. Raising them would destroy credit. Every move deepened the crisis. Economists who once praised quantitative easing now whispered regret. Printing money had saved the past, but it was killing the future. The tech giants, once untouchable, became victims of their own inflated valuations. Layoffs swept Silicon Valley, AI startups vanished, and investor euphoria turned to rage. What was once called innovation now looked like speculation. Behind every chart was a story. A family losing their home, a worker watching savings vanish, a retiree forced back into labour. The crash wasn't just economic, it was emotional. The illusion of endless growth had stolen real human stability. As Wall Street fell, Europe trembled, Asian markets halted trading, currency wars reignited, countries that depended on US debt panicked, dumping treasury bonds. The financial world wasn't collapsing one nation at a time, it was sinking together. The US dollar, long considered unshakable, began to falter. Nations discussed alternative systems, digital currencies, and gold-backed trade. For decades, the dollar ruled as the world reserve. Now its throne was trembling. Mainstream outlets painted calm pictures. Markets will recover soon, they said. But off-air, panic ruled. Reporters saw layoffs in their own buildings. Financial optimism became propaganda, designed to keep viewers calm while investors fled. Behind closed doors, governments quietly rescued megabanks again. Officially, liquidity programs. In reality, another taxpayer-funded bailout. History was repeating, but this time, the public no longer believed the lies. Once glorious companies vanished overnight. Airlines, real estate firms, and retailers filed bankruptcy. Empty office towers became relics of an age addicted to expansion. Capitalism, unrestrained, had consumed itself. Some saw hope in crypto, others ruin. Bitcoin soared, then crashed. Scammers thrived amid chaos. The dream of financial freedom collided with human greed. Technology wasn't salvation. It was just another mirror of the market's madness. Factories closed, startups folded, and unemployment lines stretched across cities. For the first time in decades, millions realized how fragile the modern economy really was. Protests erupted. Citizens demanded justice, accountability, and reform. Politicians promised recovery while inflation ate every paycheck. Trust in systems, financial and political, collapsed. Markets rely on belief. When belief dies, numbers mean nothing. That was the lesson of 2025. Confidence, once infinite, had evaporated faster than any currency. It wasn't just portfolios that collapsed. It was minds. Anxiety, burnout, and fear spread faster than contagion. The financial crisis became a human mental health crisis. Economists realized growth had always been borrowed from the future. The illusion of endless expansion was unsustainable. For the first time, humanity questioned what value truly meant. Out of chaos, new systems emerged. Central bank digital currencies, AI-driven trade, and gold-backed settlements reshaped finance. The old world died quietly, replaced by algorithms and distrust. Middle-income families, the backbone of civilization, disappeared. Wealth concentrated at the top, poverty at the bottom. The dream of equality dissolved into dust. Economists revisited old crises, 1929, 2008, and realized humanity never truly learns. Every century builds a new bubble, forgets the pain, and repeats the fall. Governments blamed speculators, corporations blamed policy. But the truth was shared guilt. Everyone had profited from illusion, and now everyone paid. Amid ruin, some thrived. Farmers, local craftsmen, small communities that relied on real value, not digital promises. The crisis exposed what truly mattered: work, trust, and tangible worth. Minimalism replaced materialism. People learned that wealth wasn't possessions but peace of mind. The economy shrank, but life grew meaningful again. Universities began rewriting economics. Growth at all costs was over. New models valued sustainability, ethics, and mental well-being over GDP. From ashes, innovation returned, slowly, wisely. Green finance, digital equity, and decentralized transparency shaped the next generation. Humanity was learning again, cautiously. Through chaos, humanity endured. History proved systems fall, but people rebuild. The true currency isn't money, it's resilience. Looking back, the 2025 crash wasn't just a financial event, it was a moral awakening. It forced humanity to confront its greed and rediscover balance. As the dust settled, hope returned. The world learned that no system lasts forever, but renewal always follows ruin. The crash became history, and history became a guide.